Hello scrappers, welcome back to my channel. Mike here again. And once again we have the Mighty Mill out and we have some connectors. And once again I'm going to run some different types of connectors through the Mighty Mill and see how well it shreds them and liberates the gold plated pins from them. And then once we get these shredded, or not, depending on how well the Mighty Mill handles them, by popular demand, after the last couple of videos where I've done this, by far the most popular comment or suggestion at the end of the videos was, show us how you separate the gold pins from all the debris. Well, I haven't actually done that yet. I've just been accumulating them here in this bag. And, because I assume that that's going to be the easy part. But you know how dangerous assuming is. I've been wrong about that before. Thought that, you know, step C was going to be the easy one, and steps A and B were going to be the hard parts. Get through steps A and B, get to step C, and find out, oh, this wasn't as easy as I thought. So, after we get these connectors here processed, and I'll give you a close-up look at what we're going to process today, but after we get these processed and added to the bag, then we're going to try my idea for separating them, which I think is just gravity separation in water. I think it's going to get rid of most of the rubber and plastic. We will see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it won't separate the metal from the rubber and plastic as easy as I think it will, but we'll give it a try, okay? So let me give you a close-up look at what we're going to be processing today. So I'm sure you scrappers out there recognize this stuff. We got some insulation displacement connectors like come off of the ends of ribbon cables. They have some very small pins that are either totally gold plated or just gold plated on the parts that bite into the cable and the parts that make the connection. And you could spend hours with needle nose pliers pulling the pins out of these. Let's see if the Mighty Mill can make it happen a little quicker. We've got some SATA power connectors here. That's not one of them. So we got some SATA power connectors. And we got some SATA data connectors off of hard drive cables and DVD drive cables out of old computers. So that's what these are from. So we'll see if the Mighty Mill can process this stuff as well as it's processed the stuff I fed through it in the last couple videos. And then we will work on separating all the little gold pins from all the plastic and rubber, okay? So let me clear off the table a little bit for action and we'll get started. Alright, so here we go. Let's start off with these insulation displacement connectors and see. Yep, we're plugged in. Alright, got power. Let me put in 1, 2, 3, 4. See how it handles them. Sounds like it really didn't have any trouble with them at all. Let's see what kind of liberation we got here from the plastic. Not too bad. Not too bad. Lots of pins and lots of plastic. And it looks like even where it didn't totally pulverize the plastic, it knocked the pins out of it. So cool. We run some more through. Let's see. I'll do about 5 this time, I guess. Not too shabby. I figured the Mighty Mill probably wouldn't have too much trouble with these. I can see the gold plating on the end of some of those pins. I mean, there's not a lot of plating there. Those pins are small, but there's a lot of pins in these things. So I guess these will go through pretty quick if I go through about 5 at a time, won't they? Oh, one of those had some chunkier pins in it. Some nice chunky gold-plated pins there. Very nice. Very nice. This is a much smaller one. I'll throw it in with the other ones. there's some chunks, but it looks like it knocks all the gold pins out of them. One of those had, oh, it had a metal shield, only an RFI shield in it. Yeah, there's another piece of metal, not gold plated, but yeah, pretty good. Doing pretty good. Yeah, there must have been another one in there that had an RFI shield in it. I think a lot of them will insert a metal shield between the two rows of pins. In fact, this one's got one. The gray one's got it. So yeah, let's see here. This one, the black one, does not. The blue one's got one. All right. So some of them do have those RFI shields in there. Interesting. Let's assume that's what they are anyway. I suppose it could be some sort of structural component, but it doesn't really seem to be doing anything, just sort of hanging out between the two sets of pins. Let's see here. So make sure I got all this stuff out before going on to the next. So yeah, not too shabby, huh? Let's see, I thought I saw, there's a piece that still has some pins in it. We'll run that one through again. This is a big chunk, but all the pins have been blown out of it. Another big chunk, no pins. Let's see if we can run this last piece again. Nothing but dust coming out this time. Okay, so that's not too shabby. I'm going to add this stuff to our bag of accumulating material here. And once we're done chewing all this stuff up, we'll go experiment with separating it. Alright. I think next up, just because they were closest, are the going to be the data connectors from SATA cables. I'll put in about 4, 5, or 6 of them. They're small. We'll see what happens. See what this stuff looks like. Oh yeah. That did a number on it. Yeah, I see gold-plated copper pins down there. Oh yeah, okay. That works good. A bunch more of these in there, and in fact, I think I'll put them all in. Don't seem to be loading it too heavy. Yeah, no problem. The Mighty Mill's not having any trouble with these connectors. It's not bogging down. Yeah. Rubber, plastic, and, well, oh, wait a minute. Here's a piece of plastic that still has some gold-plated pins in it. We'll run that one through again. And here's another one. Okay. So, one or two of those last ones had some really spongy plastic in it. It didn't want to give up its pins. They must have just beat around in there. Let's see if it will now. got it that time. Some of this stuff may need to be run through more than once, or a little bit longer than I was running it anyway, to beat all the pins out of the plastic. And those are some small pins too. But hey, it all adds up, right? It's all gold. Okay. So we'll try these SATA power connectors now. And they have a little bit of copper wire going on the side of them too, so let's see what this does. We'll put about 4 of them in to start with and see how they behave. That went easy. Oh yeah, total destruction. Black plastic, gold-plated pins, little bits of copper wire, so total destruction. Alright, that went easy. Put in another batch. Oh yeah, absolutely total destruction there. No, are those pins plated? I might have to look at those with a loop. You know what? The pins on these power connectors might not be gold plated. Wait a minute. Yes, they are at the very end. It's just most of the material is not plated. But right at the very end they are. Okay. I was thinking there I was wasting my time, but no, there is some gold plating on them. Okay, good. I knew I'd save those for a reason. Yeah, there's some gold plating on them. Okay. Alright. Yeah. 99.9% plastic and rubber, but there is some gold-plated pins there. So, we'll add this to our bag. So once again, the Mighty Mill has chewed through some e-waste electronic connectors. And so, out of all the connectors we've chewed up in the last 3 videos, they're here in this bag. So now our job is to try and separate the plastic and rubber from the metal. And I guess this is where the rubber hits the road. Haha. So let me get set up for that, and we will give that a try. All right, the time has come. What so many of you have asked to see. We're going to try and separate the gold-plated pins from the plastic debris. Ooh, I want to get this done. This video's been on hold for a few days. You haven't noticed that. But, yeah, we've had the coldest Christmas down here in 40 years. Actually snowed in North Florida. We have not got out of the 30s in a couple of days here in Central Florida. It's been bitterly cold. The weather's been miserable. And it's been too cold for water sports, for sure. It's probably still too cold today. But I did find some gloves, some basically rubber dish gloves. My panning gloves, I think, are in Wyoming. Yes, panning gloves are a thing, and they come in handy when you're panning for gold in icy mountain streams. So I got a variety of sizes of gold pans here. I'm not sure which one. Maybe I'll go with the medium-sized one, and we won't try to do this all at once. And I'm going to put some jet dry in the water like I would if I was panning gold with gold ore that I've crushed in one of my ore crushers. Don't know if it'll help with this stuff, but the jet dry does break up the surface tension on the water. So I guess let me just put an amount of this stuff in here. That's maybe half or a little less. Yeah, there's a lot of gold pins in there. Let me rearrange the camera a little bit so you can see better when I'm trying to pan this stuff. And we'll see how well it pans. I'm hoping oh yeah. get it all good and wet. Yeah, that's another thing the Jet Tri is supposed to help with stuff that's hydrophobic. There's a lot of hydrophobic stuff here. There's a lot of stuff floating on top, including I see some pins, some gold-plated pins. Let me hit it with a bit more Jet Dry. Right in the pan. Look at that. Stuff sinks right away. Yeah, alright, that's good. Yeah, make sure it's all good and wet. Jet Dry is indispensable when you're panning. Because fine gold will float too. Let me see if I can stratify this like I would when I was panning. Well, I'm working in a tub, so if this doesn't work too well, of course I can always reprocess everything in the tub. I'll just dump the water off. So it looks like, yeah, I'm sitting here stratifying it like I would if I was working with, you know, either placer stream deposits or crushed gold ore. And it looks like, if I rock this back gently, it looks like all those gold pins that were floating on top and on top of this stuff have disappeared. They stratified downwards, which is what I want. I just want the stuff on top to be stuff I want to get rid of. Remarkably little of it is actually floating, so this stuff's denser than I thought. I was hoping a lot of the plastic and rubber would just float on top, but it doesn't look like that. I guess we're actually going to have to try and pan it off here. Of course, on an industrial scale, you could be using a much denser liquid than just water. Could be using a brine that's much denser than water to the point where a lot of this stuff will float, but the metal will still sink. I gave it some thought, thinking, yeah, a dense liquid and maybe a skimmer to take the stuff off that floats and a conveyor that pulls the stuff out that sinks to the bottom. And it could be a continuous process that way. Okay, there's a big chunk that still has some gold pins in it. That didn't quite get torn apart by the mighty mill. That'll have to go into the next batch for further processing. I'm starting to see some metal, so let me stop and re-stratify. Might have helped to run this stuff through a sieve too before I started. See if I get the pins to mostly fall through. Although some of them are so mangled that might not happen. Yeah, starting to see a lot of gold there. So total separation with this method may not happen. This is what I said earlier. You think this is going to be the easy part, but I don't know. Not really. It's not really stratifying the way I'd hoped it would. I've got some light stuff over here. I mean, I've gotten rid of a lot of the plastic and rubber. Certainly I've concentrated the metal a lot. This is all metal down in here, but there's still lots of plastic and rubber mixed in with it. But I've gotten rid of, I'd say, the bulk of the plastic. A few big pieces yet that can just be pulled out. Like I said, this might have benefited from being sieved. Yeah, I don't think I can separate this as fully as I wanted to, but for what I want to do with it, which is run this stuff through Eco Goldex, I think I've probably removed enough of the junk plastic and rubber. Certainly running them through the mill has gotten rid of the big void spaces that existed in those connectors that were going to hold on to the pregnant Eco Goldex solution. So those are gone. And then by panning off the big pieces, yeah, we've gotten rid of stuff that's going to hold on to liquid too. So It's not perfect, but it might be good enough. Let me try. I don't think I can pan it down anymore without losing a significant amount of the metal. And most of the metal in there is gold plated, so we'll try the other half here. If we can get it looking at least as good. Get it with some jet dry here, right in the pan. Oh yeah, see? Yeah, hydrophobic that stuff is, till the jet dry gets a hold of it. See, very little of the plastic and rubber is floating. Very little. It's almost all sunk. So it's heavier than I thought it would be. Denser than I thought it would be. It was not expected. We've got to expect the unexpected with experiments. You know exactly how they're going to turn out. They're not experiments. Can off the bulk of this stuff. I remember what that came from. Huh. Oh, that was probably from an RCA jack. Okay. Yeah, getting down to it like before. Some of these big chunks out. But I don't know how much more I can pan out without losing metal. Like I say, most of that metal's gold plated, so I don't really want to lose it. Yeah, I don't know how well that's showing up in the video, but wow, there's a lot of gold plated metal in there. Some big chunks of crud, but a lot of gold plated metal in there. Wow. Okay. Alright, that was not as successful as I'd hoped, but probably successful enough. Yeah, I think it's probably successful enough. Gotten rid of a lot of the plastic, rubber, whatnot, and the metal's still there. There's still a lot of plastic and rubber, but what are you going to do? Like I say, there are ways. Just not something I can do easily. Alright. I'm going to leave it at that. Pull a few more things out and leave it at that. Yeah, that's got gold plating on the end of it, so that's got to stay. So there it is. Not a perfect separation, but good enough for my purposes. Alright, I can run this stuff through some Eco Goldex, get that gold plating off of it, and then just dump all of this right into the recycling. Metal and plastic together. They don't make us separated here, fortunately. So, yeah, there's a little bit of aluminum here. Probably a little bit of steel too. But that's fine. Not enough to cause any problems. Okay, so that's one way we can separate the plastic and rubber debris from, well, mostly separate from the gold-plated metal in our connectors if we have some sort of impact mill. So it's actually fairly successful. I think I will probably run the rest of my connectors through the Mighty Mill when I get a chance and do something like this to separate out the plastic and concentrate the metal so it can go through the Eco Goldex. So if you have any suggestions about how to improve this process, there's something I could carry out here, let me know. Leave a comment, leave a suggestion, leave constructive criticism. I'm always open to those sorts of things. Let me know what you think, what I'm doing here, and how I could maybe improve it. And If you found this video at all interesting, educational, informative, inspirational, whatever, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to see future videos. There'll be more videos featuring the Mighty Mill, more videos featuring the Smash-O-Matic. There'll be lots more gold recovery videos, and check out my second channel, Electro Geek 64. Amazing new content going on there if you're into retro computing or electronics. Been doing a lot of stuff over there, about a new video a day, so check it out. And thanks again for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye. So here's a little postscript content, in case you're interested. Here's the stuff we skimmed off. Here's the stuff we kept. So I would say reduce the quantity by about 2/3 and kept the good stuff. So this actually worked out even better than I thought, now that I see what I've skimmed off in there. Okay? Alright. There's your postscript content. See you in the next video. Bye.